Alright, hello fun and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the C39 Plasma Pistol mod, which is being made by user Valesi. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a fun new plasma pistol for you to enjoy. And I quite like the look of this thing, as it seems a bit more experimental slash thrown together than many other energy weapon mods we've seen in the past, which I always like seeing these kinds of things in post-apocalyptic games because, well, it makes sense that not everything's gonna be a fancy old world looking gun. And so yeah, I like the kind of weird aesthetic to this thing, even the lopsided nature of the gun, which does bother me a little bit because I do like symmetry, but still, I think it adds an interesting note to the weapon. So yeah, let's jump on over here and have a look at what exactly we are getting with the C39 Plasma Pistol, which in its most basic and standard form will do 40 physical damage, 40 energy damage, 15 radiation damage, all using a usual microfusion cell with a firing rate of 66, a range of 116, accuracy of 159, for a fairly decent little weight here of 4, but overall not too bad at all. And as you can see here, it's a pretty interesting looking gun. Again, to me it looks like something was either experimental or just, thrown together by whatever scrap the person had at hand, and it looks like an energy weapon you might find in the post-apocalypse, and that makes me very, very happy. I do always love things with that kind of aesthetic, because it's just nice to see in a post-apocalyptic game. Now, there wasn't on the mod page, at least as of the time I read it, any sort of lore as to why this weapon is here, but still, well, I guess there is technically a little bit with where you can find one of these, but kind of making it lead more towards this is an experimental weapon, but more on that in a little bit. For now, though, it's just a nice gun, with the only real problem I have with it, and I will admit, it's kind of a substantial problem. We don't got really any modifications besides the capacitor category. So you can make this thing do some pretty impressive levels of damage pre any of your other perks, but you're not going to be able to change out any of the grips. You're not going to be able to change out sights. You're not going to be able to add a stock or anything like that. It is purely just the capacitor to add more damage, which is unfortunate. And honestly, I almost didn't look at this mod because of that fairly large issue for a weapon mod not having any modifications, but I liked the style and look of this thing so much that I just had to go and take a look at it, because it's a nifty little gun that I very much have enjoyed my time with. Now, as for how you do get your hands on one of these things, and why I say that might lead to a little bit of lore info, is, well, first and foremost, well, we are going to need some requirements, specifically a DLC requirement before you can ever find one, and that is Nuka World, because this does use the Acid Soaker animations, which is intriguing, but I find appropriate. Now, once you've got Nuka World, there are 2 different versions of this mod you can download from the Nexus. Neither of them really, I think, are more standard, I guess you would say, than the other. Basically, you have 2 options of where to find things. First and foremost, if you want to be the only person with this gun, the first download will place one of these in the world in Vault 111. And that's it. That's the only one that's going to be in existence in the Commonwealth. Now, the other download will actually put this into the leveled loot list, so you'll find it on Gunners, Brotherhood of Steel, Synth, and, of course, Weapon Dealers at level 6, which is pretty good, so you'll start finding these things fairly early. Why those two versions of the mod don't get merged, I don't know, but I hope it does one day because, well, I don't know, it seems kind of weird having those two different versions, and that's really the only difference between them. But, oh well, what are you gonna do? Now let's go ahead and take a look at our one and only modification we do have for the gun. And of course, like I said, it is a capacitor category there, where we can go from the standard capacitor here, doing that 40-40-15, to a boosted at 50-50-15, a maximized at 60-60-15, and an overcharged giving you 70-70-15. And again, any other additional perks you might have that could up those numbers will, you know, up those numbers. There's really nothing else to say there. But of course, this one will also improve with the overcharged, the ammo capacity, which is always good to see as well. And yeah, you just need a lot of science for it. But yeah, pretty decent damage, frankly, just out of the box with this thing, with the overcharged. Even the first upgrade to boosted, getting you that 50-50-15 is pretty darn good, but interestingly, reduces ammo capacity temporarily. Strange. But, oh well. Such is life with the one and only modification for this gun. God, I really, really do hope that the mod maker adds in more modifications in the future, that this is just as it stands right now, because I do like this gun and I would love to see it, you know, with some more things added in. But for now, it's a perfectly serviceable plasma pistol for you to find in the world. And yeah, let's take some shots with it, and I'll go ahead and grab my modified version, or advanced there. And we'll just take some shots here with the standard, which does have, you know, a nice sight on it. I do like having a more hollow sight-esque thing than, you know, iron sights. That is good to see. And yeah, just shoot. There we go. Now, the firing rate on this thing is pretty quick, pretty much as fast as you can click the mouse, it will fire the weapon. And of course, using that acid soaker animation on the reload there, which is funny. You also kind of hear it as it sort of has like the suction on as the microfusion cells pulled out, which, I don't know, interesting little thing. And, you know, kind of fits. Yeah, you would need that to be pretty tight for you to, you know, keep that microfusion cell in there. So it would have a little bit of a sound when you take it out. Good times. Now, as for control on the gun, it's pretty easily controllable. It keeps a pretty tight grouping. Not a whole lot of kick to this thing. Like, if I do not, when I fire this time, do any, you know, modification or adjustments, there we go. That's all it did. Out of the 20 shots we get, we went from, you know, there to there. Not too shabby. So easy to keep on your targets and, you know, hit your enemies with. Now, even though there really shouldn't be any difference in firing, let's go ahead and try our advanced one with that 70-70-15 damage. And with 22 rounds now, 2 additional shots. And yeah, man, there you go. You get those 2 additional shots. That's it. Whoops, accidentally hit Q. I'm a fool. But yes, let's take a look at this thing in use against our typical friend, our friendly, Deathclaw. Which, hey, with the 70-70-15 damage on this thing, shouldn't be too bad against him. Even the 40-40-15, honestly, wouldn't be that bad against a Deathclaw, so long as you actually hit the target. I mean, out of our first microfusion cell there, we got him down, I'd say, almost a third of the way. Ooh, much better on that one. Oh my, yeah, we got a lot more shots in on his exposed belly, so we almost killed him that go. And that one last shot to the head did it. Magnificent. So yeah, it can become a pretty powerful gun, and considering you get the standard one and start seeing the world at level 6, that's pretty nice. Just that 40-40-15 damage there is already a pretty good amount of damage at that point in the game, level 6. And getting up to that 70-70-15 is pretty nice for, I'd say, easily mid-game and even late mid-game, and with perks, even into the early late, I think it'd be more than adequate. But yeah, overall though, it's just a fun weapon that has a unique look and design to it that I very much do enjoy, and of course with the one download that has it placed in Vault 111, makes you at least get a sense that it was some sort of pre-war experimental gun, and I like that. I like those sorts of things. So if you'd like to take a look at this weapon for yourself, you can have a look at the link in the video as per usual. But that, my friends, is going to be it for today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and you do come back for whatever mod we do look at next. But until that time, thank you for watching as always. Well, have a good one.